Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Hello, everyone. Fremont Art Association is happy to announce Durba Sen as our guest artist today. Durba is a member of FAA and is so creative with her many different types of artwork. It might be a beautiful portrait or bright abstract painting in oil or acrylic, or maybe an intricate abstract on a set of ceramic coasters. Today, her demo is painting with alcoholic ink on ceramic tile, and I'm sure it will be fascinating. Welcome, Durba.
Thanks, Mary. Hi, everyone. I'm Durba. As Mary introduced, I have been a FAA member since, I think, 2010, 2011, so quite a long while. I'm primarily an abstract artist, a self-taught artist, and I work with vibrant, bold colors. That's my signature. I initially started off with realistic paintings, but I soon realized that I'm drawn more to abstract, and that's what I love doing. And during the pandemic, I moved from abstract expressionist paintings to geometric abstractions. I guess I needed some defining structure during that time of just endless days. And I just want to give you a preview. So this is my home art studio, where I teach art also. And I just want to give you a preview of my art studio and the paintings I have. It's primarily geometric abstractions and landscape paintings in the Fauvism style, which is basically an abstract version of landscapes. So bear with me while I just move my laptop around for you to see. So these are the geometric paintings. I've also started integrating musical instruments to shapes and also portraits in the Picasso style to geometric shapes, basically reflecting women's rights and all. So this is the work I'm working on right now, like on women. And this is the rest of my work. So it's full of color. That, as I said, that's what I do. I also I just completed like a series of 16 paintings combining geometric shapes and musical instruments for a gallery in San Francisco. And I get bored easily doing the same repetitive thing, so I need change. So when a friend, artist friend, introduced me to alcoholic ink paintings, I was fascinated and I kind of got hooked to it. So I've been practicing, like working a lot on it, creating tiles and then creating coasters from it, and working on Yupo paper to kind of create different landscapes and different things with alcoholic ink. So before I show you some of the work that I did, I just wanted to give you a kind of a preview about how alcoholic ink works, what you require, and things like that. First and foremost, you need a well-ventilated room because it's kind of the fumes from alcoholic ink. It's not very conducive to one's health. Unfortunately, today, I have to close my door because there's some work going on outside. Anyway, you also need like ceramic tiles, a non-porous surface. So you need like ceramic tiles. Tatiana, if you could also, yeah, thanks. So ceramic tiles like this, which is non-porous. This is a porous tile, and you do not want something like this. Okay, so you want ceramic tile or Yupo paper, which is again non-porous. So that's what you need. You also need brushes, like straws. So this is a pipette, straws, brushes, either a hair dryer or something called like an air bulb to kind of move the air around. Of course, you need a medium. Either blending medium or isopropyl alcohol works fine. and it can get messy. So you definitely need a pair of gloves, and you need alcoholic ink. And I usually use 2 to 3 in one go in on one tile. If you use too many, it kind of gets muddy. Also, it's called Yupo, YUPO. So if you can see Yupo, hold on. Can you see that? So that's what it is. So you need straws, brushes, pipettes, earbuds if you do, heat gun or hair dryer or air compressor. But I'll show you both with the bulb and straws. I prefer straws because I can control the movement, and I'll show you with this because this kind of blows it too hard. So if on a bigger surface, I think it works better, but a smaller surface, and I'll show you, I'll demonstrate it so you can know. So these are few of my tile work that I did on tiles. And here I've used 2 or 3 colors. And I try to stick to the color wheel, the ones that complement each other or are next to each other. Here I've used quite a few. And you can see, like, because it's a larger surface, it still looks okay, but in a smaller surface, it looks a little cluttered. And these are a few more that I worked on while practicing. And I'm working right now on alcoholic tiles for the Olive Height Gallery. They requested me to do a few. The thing is, these are pretty forgiving. So if you make a mistake, you can just take a paper towel or a cloth and use alcoholic ink and wipe it off and redo it. And I will show you that too. And a couple of ways to varnish it. You use Kamar varnish, and then you will use a UV heat resistant varnish. But make sure the alcoholic ink dries at least for a day or two before you use a varnish. 1 or 2 coats of varnish, but again, make sure they kind of dry before you use it. The other thing that you can do is you can use resin to kind of seal in the ink. And I actually tried it myself yesterday, and it came out beautiful. So this is the one, and you can see I've resined it, so you can see that gloss. And this is heat resistant and cool resistant, so you can use this as a coaster if you want. This is another one that I did with resin, and I've used the cork backing. So this is like a coaster. This is for my personal use, and so the colors also pop out when you resin it. Again, smaller tiles that I did, which these are resin. So you get an idea how it looks like. Okay. So that being said, let's get started, and let me know if you can't see. I'll try and move the camera around. Okay, since the ink stains really thing and it's messy, make sure you wear gloves and you protect your table. I usually work with newspapers, but just for demos today, I just use a white cloth, white plastic tablecloth. So let's get started. I usually have a container. 1 second to wear my gloves. Small container to put alcoholic ink. A small container to pour the isopropyl alcohol. And use a little at a time because it evaporates. So you just want to use a little at a time. I also have a spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to use 2 colors first, or maybe, let's see, let's use green, blue, and teal color. Okay, so what I usually do, and there are a couple of ways to do it. So you can either first...
Hello, how are you? Good to see you. After a long time.
If someone can mute, okay. You can either kind of apply a coating of the isopropyl alcohol but it evaporates quickly. But this is just to kind of make sure the colors move. And then these are very concentrated. So you want to use 1 or 2 drops max at a time. You do not want to use a lot. And I'll show you why. So say I use kind of 3 drops and then use a pipette. And these are basically the bulbs, right? So okay, and then you can blow. Remember, they are very forgiving. Also, they have a mind of their own. So it takes a lot of practice to control the flow of the paint. And if you can't, just go with it, go with the flow. It always turns out beautiful. So the other thing that you do, if you want cells, is you start kind of adding, like with a brush, cells like this. And then if you blow it, say I use this, right? You can control the flow. So you see the cells, right? And you can go, like you can use maybe another color and go in between. I've just used 2, but let's use another blue right here. It's like a teal color. So this is one example that I have, and you can see it's mainly like blues and greens. The other thing that you can do to create cells here is add the spray. You can move it around, but you can see the sprays. If you use the bulb, they are bigger ones, cells. If you use the straw, So this is what it is. I'll show you another one and I will use a different medium. Let's see. Let's use a big one. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a few drops without spraying it with alcoholic ink. So and the type of alcoholic inks, there is the one which is called Tom Ranger, which is a good brand. I'm using that. Another one I found on Amazon called About. I like this because this works well with resin also. Okay, so I'm going to again use the pipette to kind of just add alcoholic ink to it, and then I will start moving it around. And the thing is, once this dries, you can add more ink to it for denser designs and more complicated designs like this. So that will, but you have to just wait for it to dry a little bit. I prefer, as I mentioned, the straw because this bulb kind of moves it a lot. And then you can, at times you can use a brush to move it around a little bit to give you, if it's not colored, if the color doesn't move enough. You can keep
Durba?
moving it. Yes.
We
You have a
have some
question?
questions here.
Sure.
So first question, are the acrylic paints used with alcoholic ink?
Acrylic paints are usually not used with alcoholic ink. It's you just have to use alcoholic ink. It's a totally different medium, and it works well with isopropyl alcohols or a blending solution. So you don't usually want to use acrylic ink, but if you use, and you have to use it on a non-porous surface. But I've seen a lot of people use it on canvas. So maybe you prep the canvas with, acrylic paints or a surface that seals, a paint that will seal the surface before you can use alcoholic ink, because otherwise it will seep in, it will not hold. And you can try with acrylic ink. I have tried and I don't think it works really well. But I mean, there's always a first time. You can try. But I personally have tried once and I just felt it didn't gel well with it. The paint medium is alcoholic ink, the blending solution. So this comes with a blending solution, which works well with, so this is what it is. This is a blending solution and it comes with, this is the Tom Ranger.
Simple?
the Tom Ranger brand I was talking about, and this is the blending solution that comes with it. But I use the blending solution only with, say, gold or the gilded colors. I use isopropyl alcohol for most of the other colors because it moves well, and you can kind of, and it's less, like it's less expensive. I also wanted to show you one more thing is like, so this is what I was working on. I tried black and gold, and I realized I'm not liking it. I mean, it's nice, but I'm not liking it that much. So if you kind of use your paper towel, or this is like a kind of a cloth medium, and wipe it, and you can get rid of it, like, you know, and it takes a couple of coats, but you can kind of get rid of it and repaint it. So it's pretty forgiving if you make a mistake. And I have repainted on tiles a couple of times. So that is, see, it kind of goes. So you just need to do one more, and it's good as new. So you can use it. So when you're practicing, you know, tiles itself is very inexpensive. You can get these tiles at Home Depot or, you know, one of the hardware stores. But it is easier to practice and then wipe it and practice, and, you know, it works very well. I also wanted to show you a couple on Yupo paper. So the thing that I like to do, and I'm sure everybody who's an artist does that, I just kind of do paint swatches with the alcoholic ink, and you can see how this has spread because of isopropyl alcohol. But that gives me a way to, instead of trying to open the bottle, I can kind of look at it and say, okay, I want to use a couple of these colors. So that kind of helps. And the other thing you have to know, like on tiles, the way it blends and moves more easily, it's not that easy on Yupo paper. And I'll show you, I know I said I want to do a demo on tiles, but I just wanted to show you a couple on Yupo paper just for you to kind of get the difference. So this is a landscape that I tried with Yupo paper with alcoholic ink. This is the one I tried, and you'll see how the colors, and I'll show you how the colors kind of stay in one place. It's a little difficult to move the papers around. This is one more. This is one more I tried. So, and then this is an abstract on Yupo paper, which I will show you. And Yupo paper, or if you have photo paper, you know, which is kind of like a little glossy, you can use that too. And I tried like a flower over here, and then on the other side, which is more glossy, I tried, but you can see this here, when I put the drops, it concentrated in a few places. It didn't move well. So you have to figure out like the others, which is a little less glossier, works better than the more glossier side. And this was the more glossier side. And again, this didn't work really well. The other thing which you do is, which I did mark making here, you can use Posca pens to do mark making on, and I'll show you a few. But you get Posca pens in Amazon and all, or Target. And you can use Posca pens to do mark making on alcoholic ink. And I'll just show you a couple of that. Okay, so let me first show you something like this, and then I'll show you like a landscape like this. So that kind of gives you a preview of both. Let's choose orange. Orange. Yeah. Okay. I'm just brushing the rest of the paper with isopropyl alcohol. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I can try answer them while I'm doing it. I won't say I know all the answers, but I'm sure I do know quite a few and I can definitely answer those questions.
Durba, I have a question.
Yes,
Can you paint with brush with alcoholic ink?
that's the next one I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I usually do, I would do landscapes with it more than this. I mean, you can try and I'll show you a few. I just love these cells and, it kind of, if you kind of maneuver it and work with it, it creates beautiful designs. And then you can use, let's see, you can probably use kind of a brush to kind of, if you need to move it. Let's see. If you need to add like circles or twirls or like if you want to do lines over here, you can kind of, but this is more of abstract. So I'm just keeping with the abstract theme over here. And you can add like maybe like a bit of shapes here and there or go around it. And if it has alcoholic ink, you can kind of, if it has the alcohol, you can go in and create more designs with the brush. Just play with it. This is a very fun thing, and I can spend hours just playing with it and creating different designs. And here, so you can use the brush to here, kind of get it, and then maybe blow a little more. So, and you can see the cells that forms also with this, and then add a little more color, and then add a little more alcohol, and keep creating the cells, and blow them and move them around. So that's one with it. And if you want me to show layer, I'll just let it dry, and then once it dries, I can come back and do another layer on it so that you can get the layered feeling. While this dries, let me do a landscape. I'm going to stay with my abstract feel for the landscapes. But again, you need to layer it with one layer of isopropyl alcohol so the colors kind of move. And then say here's and you can use the isopropyl alcohol to get like a little bit of like the textured feel, right? Like if this is say the ground. So a little bit of the textured feel, and then say I add kind of maybe the isopropyl ink has become red and orange because with the colors. But I'm going to add a little bit of contrast here. Let's see.
I can almost see there the one you are painting, those look like rock. If
Yeah,
you put blue in front of it, that will surely look water in front.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to do, but this is a little more of a little darker blue, and let's add a little lighter blue to it. And if you want, you can still move the water around. Okay, I'm going to add a little more of this color over here to get the ground up a little more. And then what I'm going to do is so I have this plate too, and I use this mainly for the landscapes, because if I need a little bit of color and I need the brush to paint with it, that's what I do. I just take this and kind of and see how it kind of expands here, and you can go back and fix it with a little more ink and less alcoholic ink, and I'll show you that too. Just take a little more green. Alcoholic inks and all a little expensive, so just wait when there's a sale or something and go ahead and get it. Then it's a lot cheaper and easier if you get it. See. The other thing is, make sure your alcoholic ink brushes are kept separate. You do not want to use these with acrylics or any other watercolors, anything else, because they are totally different medium, and it does not work with other. The brushes kind of get spoiled if you kind of use it, or your other paints might get spoiled if you use it with other medium. Also, the brushes are cleaned with, and the surface can be cleaned with alcoholic wipes or the isopropyl alcohol, and not water. So that is one of the reasons. So this is kind of like a basic abstract landscape, and you can have fun with it. You can try. Just remember, the alcoholic inks have a mind of their own and they kind of flow differently, and you have to work with that instead of trying to force it to work the way you want it, at least initially, till you kind of get used to how it flows and how you can control it better and everything. So I want to do another layer on this just to show you that you can layer it up. So let's go for that.
And we have one more question.
Sure.
The question is, how long it take for tiles to dry?
So you have to, I like to wait at least a couple of days. It can dry fast, maybe on the surface, but you want it completely sealed in, right? Completely dry so that there's no way, because once, if it is not dry enough, also remember the temperature and the humidity affects how it dries. So if it is like too humid, obviously you wait a few more days. You have to, it's better to wait longer than less, because once you start varnishing, and that happened with me right here, you won't be able to see it, but I'm just letting you know. I can feel it because I didn't let it dry enough. It's kind of like a rough, gives you a rough feel. So you have to wait till it completely dries before you even start varnishing. 2-3 days at least would be ideal. And for resin also, wait for the varnish to completely dry and then do resin. Like for me, I was lucky. I applied this resin yesterday and it was less than 24 hours and it's perfectly set. But sometimes it will take longer, much like at least a couple of days. So,
Thank you.
so I'm just going to layer a few more and then work. And it's just that it takes, I mean, you can do complete one in a few minutes, or it will take time if you're making complicated ones. And I'll try and show you, I did do one with like a flower, and I'll try and show you one of that after this. Let's see. I'm trying to do the autumn fall colors here, give the impression of kind of leaves falling in an abstract way, if that makes sense.
If you add gold with it, does it react differently?
I'll show you. This is gilded. This is so what happens is with gold, it kind of blends in, but once it dries, it gives a gold, a sheen to it, a touch to it. Like the one I showed you over here with the black one, I tried the gold and I did not like the way it showed, but it is very mild, the gold. So maybe, let's see, maybe you need to give add a little more. And I can use the other one, which is called gilded, and I can show you the difference. So golds are more for accents than for actual work, like actual painting.
But these are metallic gold.
Yes, the gold and silver are the metallic colors. So yeah, But the main thing you have to know is like, they're very concentrated. So you just wait for a few, like apply just a few drops. And you can see if by blowing and moving it around, you can create different shapes. And by using the colors, like you create, like with the color wheel, you can create like a season or different, like a fall color or everything. So let me show you the flower that I was trying to tell you. And it's a little, it's kind of, let's use a bit of alcoholic ink. It's a little dicey because it moves again, as I said, right? It has its own mind of its own, and I will try and show you. So I'm going to start with a little brown over here. And then create, let's see, just small dots over here. And then I'm going to just take a yellow. Okay, try this. Maybe use some this. And you have to work this one at a time. It's just that it dries so fast and everything. You just have to go slow.
And we have more questions.
Yeah.
The question is, can we use alcoholic paints on canvas?
You can and cannot. It is not, again, canvas is a porous surface. You need a non-porous surface always for alcoholic ink. If you can prime the canvas with paints and with a primer to kind of seal all the spaces, and the pores. You can try, but it works better on like a non-porous surface, like a Yupo paper, or there's also a company called Nara, Nara, that has paper like Yupo paper. So, it comes in sheets like this, and you can cut them. Even the Yupo paper, they come in sheets. I've just cut them into smaller rectangles to kind of demonstrate. But it's always better to use a non-porous surface. And you can keep blowing and, creating layers of petals to kind of give, and you can, so this is a way to kind of create flowers. You can try with handgun or hair dryer. If you have a hair dryer that you can use for paints, I know a lot of different other mediums also use hair dryers, but I love this too for bigger areas, right? Like if you want a smaller area, you want straws or something smaller, but for little bigger or more flowing areas, this is a good tool to have. So, and that kind of gives you a little bit of that flower. So that's like, and you can add more colors to have it flow and have layers and layers and layers and layers of it. So that's my demo. Again, you can have different tiles. I have like a tile like this. I have another tile like this, and you can go have fun with it, play with it. I have bigger ones like this. Again, as I said, another like, so the different shapes. And different papers like this, Yupo paper, or even it's called Dura paper. That is another paper which is like glossy, Dura and La, Dura paper. If you Google it or in Amazon, Amazon has it, I know for sure. It's like a plastic substrate surface, and that also will, it's a non-porous, so that will also hold the colors, and it will not kind of seep in. So let me know if there's anything else you want me to show, any other questions, if you want me to show another demo. This is the basics of alcoholic ink, and you can take it to the next level by trying to control the flow of the ink, doing layer after layer, and trying landscapes. It's a little more challenging, but you can try. Let me know if you have any more questions. If you want me to show something else, I'm more than willing to go ahead and show it to you.
Durba,
Yeah.
do these ink mix with each other and create new colors?
They do mix, like say they will mix into each other. I have tried to make, the thing is you cannot use more than two or three colors. It becomes muddy.
Yeah.
But I don't think they mix very well. You can try, and I can show you one right now on a tile, and we can see if it mixes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
give me two colors.
on this tile, if you put three primary colors right in the middle next to each other, three dots.
Let's try. So we have like red. We have yellow and
Blue.
we have blue.
Okay, and put
Okay.
whatever you put and then blow them.
Okay,
So they
let's
mix.
try and see. You see how muddy they're getting?
Mm-hmm.
So they will mix a little, but it is that's the reason you need to stay in the color wheel and do the colors around more than like trying to mix. I mean, they will mix, but it gets more muddy like over
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
right? So it's they have a whole range. So when they sell you colors, they sell you in like blues and greens, so like yellows and reds. And it's a good idea to buy a few different colors instead of trying to make it. I mean, they will blend it. You can see a little bit of purple, you can see a little bit of green, but it is more muddier.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that,
Purple looks okay. Maybe if you try to mix like different shades of red, you will get nice purple. But
okay.
yeah, it probably needs a lot of experimenting to get some.
Get something like that. It's easier to buy the color, right? So I have a
Mhm.
pink here, and let's try it with pink and see, okay? And let's see if that works.
Can you show us the brand of ink again, please?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me just blow this and just show this.
Okay.
So you can see you
Wonderful.
get purple here, but
Yeah.
you know, it just a tad bit, you know, you have to probably mix it with brushes and get the purple, but sometimes, you know, just have to be mindful, like how much you use, how less you use. And it is kind of more difficult to kind of create a different color. You can probably create it over here and then use it with a brush, but directly over here might be a little bit of a problem. So there are a couple of good brands. I have them written down. Maybe 1 second to find it. The one is called the Tom Holes, like the Ranger brand. This is what I have, and I can type it here in the chat for you. So it's the Ranger brand, and this is pretty good. And this is what I usually use when I create the tiles. But I took part in the, you know, the Washington Boulevard and Ellsworth Avenue Street Fair in March. I'm not taking part this weekend, but I took part, and for that I bought this brand called About. It's called About, and it comes in a box like this. It's pretty reasonable. It's like it has kind of like 30 colors, 30 bottles. What I like about this is you can create on tiles. You can also use it to make resin, like, you know, coat it with resin and all that stuff. The colors flow beautifully. I created one just resin coasters yesterday with resin, and I used instead of the ink that came with the resin, I used this, and I can just show it to you. If you give me a moment, I'll get it from there. It's just setting. The color is like really bright and really beautiful, and that is a good way to work with alcoholic ink and resin. Just give me a moment, I'll show it. So this is with the purple I've used, and red I've used alcoholic ink. And this is on resin, like this is like the mold for the resin that I'm making the coasters, and the colors have come out beautiful, and I've added some glitter over here. But this is just an example of alcoholic ink with just to create just in the resin coasters. The colors pop, and also the tiles, if you use resin, like if you varnish it, that's good, but if you use resin, the colors really resonate and pop, and it's strong. It's not going to kind of crack, and you can use heat and cold like on it with no harm.
So Durba, do you use the resin with the alcoholic ink
So
or after you finish the alcoholic ink?
So this one I finished alcoholic ink and I varnished it. And I read somewhere that you can use a resin coating to make it last, like in one of the Google, like YouTube comments and all. So I wanted to try it. So I was using this coaster as is with just regular varnish and UV resistant. And yesterday I just applied resin on top of it. And this is fine. It's like a nice coating and you can put heat and cold on it. So this is when you use resin after. But if you make resin stuff like, and pour directly in the molds, you can add alcoholic paints to that
Okay.
and create your own like this one. But this is a
Right.
different process. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I know you're using alcoholic inks. I don't have them, but I just tried it with watercolor. And it is on a non-porous surface. It's not obviously like the ones that you're doing, but I just want to show you that it came out just like this. I don't know if you can see it.
I can't see you because I think it's focused on one. If you go to the regular view, oh, yeah, that's nice. That's great. Yeah, but see the texture and the ink is different, right?
Right.
It comes-
It's just watercoloring. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can just go to Amazon and buy alcoholic ink. You don't have to buy like a super expensive one to start with. Like the Ranger ones are a little more expensive, but if you use the About ones, or even go to Amazon and find like a cheaper version just to start and play with. And that kind of gives you the feel for how the ink is, how to move it around. Once you get adept at it, then you can go for a more expensive brand or like the Ranger ones. The Ranger ones are really good. Like I love them.
Yeah. That's
Um,
beautiful work that you have done. Yeah, it's very inspiring.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like, when I do my geometric abstractions and everything and I get bored, like, I need a break, I just jump into alcoholic inks because that is my playtime. Like, and you can have fun and you can create beautiful designs and even landscapes and flowers. There are a couple of Facebook groups at Alcoholic Ink Art. You can kind of be a member and get inspiration from there. You can, if you do Instagram, you can do hashtag, like find our Alcoholic Ink Art or Alcoholic Ink Painting, and you will see all the beautiful designs that people do and the different arts that they create. And you can do a lot with it. I am still learning. I just feel like I love abstract art, so I'm doing it, but I want to try like blowing into a proper flower. And I've seen people do landscapes, even people do like birds with alcoholic ink. And that is what I want to try. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's my aim.
Nice. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else you want me to show? Actually, this is actually coming out well. If I add this blue a little bit here and there and a little bit of yellow peeking out, it'll look like sunshine and things coming through cloudy skies. So, yeah. So I can show you some more, but this is the basic of alcoholic ink. Again, if you let me know what other supplies, if you want a preview of others, like the supplies again. But this is it.
Durba, I have a question.
Sure.
Can you please tell more about sealing them, about varnishing and
Yes.
to make them like more?
Yes. So you use Kamar varnish. That's the best I have heard that you can use, KAMAR. And you use 2 or 3 coats and you let it dry between coats. That is very important. You have to let it dry. And then the next will be a UV resistant, like a clear UV resistance varnish. I probably have, let me see. So this is a Kamar varnish that I have. Okay. And then I have a UV archival, but I think a UV clear would be better. I don't have that right now. So these two would be the ones that you would use for like a regular like tile, and that works good too. I have used that, and I've sold coasters using just Kamar and UV, and they have worked well. So I don't have a problem with that. But the next step, if you want to go the next step and you want to use resin, then then you apply resin after varnish. You don't need a UV resistant. You can just do the Kamar varnish and then do resin.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any more questions? All right.
Durba, this was a fascinating demo. Thank you. I enjoyed it, and your work is just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun showing it.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
very
just
much.
that the colors move on their own. They have a mind of their own. So just have to work with that.
Thank you very much. I'm definitely will try to do this on tiles. I try to do it on Yupo paper, and I love that you can actually move and erase on tile.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little more difficult on Yupo paper. It needs a little more control, but on tiles, it's very forgiving. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Durba.
Thank you.